Hi, I'm Bill Bonfanti.
And I'm Frank Nocerino.
Welcome to Box Office Bang Up. Fairly slow box office weekend. We only have one major release coming out, Date Night starring Tina Fey and Steve Carell, romantic action comedy. There is one other film opening in about 900 theaters. It's a little indie film called Letters to God, distributed by Vivendi Entertainment. But really, we'll get to that one in a minute. Let's get right to Date Night. Frank, what do you think of that?
Date Night, Tina Fey and Steve Carell, a great comic pairing. I believe it's going to make $25 million this weekend. I like the premise. I think it looks funny. I don't see how these two can't make a hit. $25 million is right in range with The Bounty Hunter. Same type of movie, action comedy. And I believe it's going to make $25 million this weekend. How about you?
I think it's going to make a little bit more than that. I think it can make about $32 million. I actually would not be surprised if it made a little bit more than that.
Wow.
But I'm going to go with 32. Basically, I look at Date Night as the same sort of audience that came to Couples Retreat. Couples Retreat came out last October, was also a solo release for the weekend. Packed them in, $34 million. Same exact crowd, 25 and up date crowd, which is appropriate for Date Night.
Very good.
And I think Steve Carell, look at Steve Carell's box office prowess already. Anytime he's in a comedy, it opens 30 million or more. 31 million for Evan Almighty.
Oh, wow. That's a good movie.
38 million for Get Smart.
Wow.
All of his comedic animated roles open north of $40 million. Not that those really quantify here, but still.
No, but he's a bona fide box office star.
He's got a box office star. So I think you add Tina Fey to the mix here.
But is she a bona fide box office star?
She's not. She's definitely doesn't have any
Baby
track
Mama?
record. Baby Mama, 17 million.
Okay.
Opening weekend, that was solely because of her. The movie itself wasn't really that great, but because of her, 17 million. Went on to make 60. Pretty solid first attempt for a starring role.
So that's...
but really, she hasn't had anything else other than that. Yeah, she was one of the voices in Ponyo, but that really doesn't really apply here. But yeah, I think you bring the two of them together, you're looking north of $30 million.
Yeah, and the reviews have been very good and positive on it. Everyone seems to enjoy them as a couple. But I still stick with $25 million.
Yeah, you could be right. It definitely falls into the bounty hunter territory. It's the same kind of romantic action comedy.
TV star,
stars on the run kind of thing.
Right.
I don't think Gerard Butler compares to Steve Carell.
No,
I think,
not at all.
You're talking about comedy. If it was an action movie, I think Gerard Butler would do better than Steve Carell, but not in the comedy area.
But I think then Jennifer Aniston maybe is a little bit more box office clout than Tina Fey does, so that might pair that off a little. So you're probably looking around $25 million.
I'm not a big buyer on the Jennifer Aniston box office clout argument at all, because all of her biggest hits,
still made $20
Bruce
million.
Almighty, it's her biggest hit. Why? Because Jim Carrey was her co-star. The breakup, Vince Vaughn she had as her co-star.
Well,
she only has big hits when she's got a big co-star.
Well, I would say Tina Fey then lucks out because she has a big co-star in Steve Carell.
Exactly.
So that's why I'm saying $25 million.
So I'm going with 32.
Okay.
I think it could be, like I said, I think it could be slightly north of that. But I'm going to be conservative. I'm going to go with 32 million.
No,
I think it's. What do you think in the 4-week popcorn period? That's my term for the 4-week period where a film trades on the Cantor Exchange from when it opens in theaters to when it settles. Again, if you don't know what the Cantor Exchange is, go to cantorexchange.com for all information about that. But I would say 4 weeks, about 80 million.
I'm going to say about 80 million too, but opening with 25. Just like
we're really not that off.
No, we're pretty much
$7 million.
Right.
So the big question is, do any of the films this weekend provide any real competition for Date Night? In my opinion, not really. You got Clash of the Titans, completely different audience. I think that movie is going to drop off a cliff this weekend.
So you're picking Date Night to be number one?
I think Date Night's going to be number one.
See, I'm going with Date Night being number two.
Right.
Because I think Clash of the Titans still has decent legs with, maybe a 50% drop off to 30 million for the weekend. And with, Date Night afterwards at 25.
Well, here's the thing. With a big blockbuster like Clash of the Titans type movie, generally they drop between 55-60% in their second weekend. Now except when they're poorly received by people, like Clash of the Titans is not getting positive word of mouth. Like something like Wolverine, dropped 68%, and that was a better movie. Trust me, I've seen both. It wasn't a bomb.
Okay.
But it dropped 68% in its second weekend, all right? So generally, you're talking, 60 to 65% is the range for a blockbuster to drop. Now, it's going to drop less than that because Easter Sunday did eat into its box office potential last weekend. So some people that missed last weekend are definitely going to come out this weekend. So I'm only going to ding at 60%, which puts it at about 25 million for the weekend.
We're very close again.
110 million for the 10-day.
We're very close again because I'm thinking at 50% to 30 million, and then another drop off, another 30 to like 18% next week.
Right, I hear you.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I hear you. I got you.
So it's still for a popcorn period about 150, 165 million.
Yeah, I'd say that. I'd see about 110 now. Yeah, I'd say that's
about
150
150
for 4 weeks sounds about right. But yeah,
which
I
would have been a great short at 200.
It would have been a great short.
Right, and we traded it pretty good there, right? Thank you.
Then the other movie that comes out is not that comes out, but that is still viable this weekend is How to Train Your Dragon.
Absolutely.
Totally different audience than Date Night, but that film's still going to draw in about
Still
20
has
million
legs,
this
yeah.
weekend.
I was going to say 18 million this weekend.
And then I guess the only other competition for Date Night would be Tyler Perry's Why Did I Get Married
Which
2.
will have legs again, and still that's going to make $15 million again this weekend.
I think a little less. I'm thinking about 13. It's going to probably drop off about 55%. Normally, a Tyler Perry movie will drop off about 47% its second weekend, but this is a sequel property, a little more front-loaded, so I think there'll be a bigger drop-off.
Okay.
Let me get to that Letters to God, okay? It's a Christian-based movie from Vivendi Entertainment. No real stars to speak of. It will play very well in the Bible Belt.
Absolutely.
But there's been no marketing push for this film whatsoever, so I'm thinking probably about $1.5 million. Maybe just cracking the top 10 at number 10 for the weekend.
I would say that.
Yeah, it's not going to do much better than that. The only Christian-based film that I've seen that actually, not that I actually saw the film, but that I saw perform better than that was 2 years ago. Kirk Cameron came out in a film called Fireproof.
Right, that's right.
It opened to about 6.8 million, if I'm remembering correctly.
Anyway.
Anyway.
But Date Night and Clash of the Titans still 1 and 2. Either way,
1 and 2, yeah. It's gonna be a fight for number 1,
that's
no
gonna
doubt.
be fun. That'd be good.
No doubt. So that always makes it an exciting box office weekend. I guess that's pretty much wraps it up. So Date Night, we basically agree. We're a little bit off. He thinks 25, I think 32, but we do think it's going to get to 80 in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Clash of the Titans, we're a little bit off on that one as well, about $5 million difference for us.
Close enough.
But close enough. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it all plays out this weekend. And then you'll join us next week when 2 new films hit the box office. We got Kick-Ass, which
we're all looking forward to.
I can't wait to see what this movie makes. I've been debating it for a while. And Death at a Funeral, starring Chris Rock and Martin Lawrence and Tracy Morgan.
A lot of comedies out lately.
Comedies are starting to hit. Well, we're going to get into the summer period where it's going to be all action. So
that's Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2, big city here. So that's it. That's our show for this week, and join us next week. Thank you.
Take care.